你知道嗎？喺我哋嘅身體入邊咧，有成幾百種嘅微生物㗎喎。如果你攞佢出嚟磅下咧，有成2公斤咁多。咁你可能會話，咁多益生菌，點解又要買益生菌去補充呢？原來有好多原因嘅。嗱，其中一個可能你有聽過嘅。如果一個媽媽佢開刀攞個 BB 出嚟呢，原來呢個 BB 呢，第時會好容易好多敏感啊，好多問題，包括可能濕疹。原來就係因為佢缺乏咗一啲益生菌喎，或者一啲人呢係病啦，佢會食呢一個抗生素，但好可惜抗生素呢就係菌都殺，所以壞菌好菌都殺，咁所以亦都會導致到呢我哋係失咗個平衡嚇，啲益生菌係走晒，咁所以我哋係需要補充翻嘅喎。你要揀一個益生菌嘅產品，嗱有3樣嘢你要注意嘅喎。Hello， 大家好啊！我哋而家咧就請咗我哋嘅即係酵素啦，同埋益生菌嘅專家去教育我哋喎。
So the first thing that I look at is going to be the number of CFUs. So that's the colony forming units. That's the activity or the potency of the particular strain of probiotics. So pretty high up there as far as the importance of that. Because it relates to like the horsepower of a vehicle. So if you have a car that has a horsepower of 50 or one that has 500, I mean, you get from point A to point B a whole lot faster with the 500 than you do with the 50. So very much true with probiotics. So we want to look at that first. So when we go through and there's 2 parts. When we look at the label claim for prime probiotics from OVL, there's specifications for each one of the probiotics. So we're going to give 3 examples quick. I mean, the first example is L. acidophilus. So everybody's mostly familiar with that strain. It is supposed to come in at 200 billion from the supplier. So do we take their word for it? No. You know, we can't do that. So what we do is we send it out to a third-party lab, accredited third-party lab. They come back with the test results, come back at 320 billion. So if we look, so we use that same formula, plug it into this product. So instead of 1.8 billion CFUs of acidophilus in the product, there are actually 2.88 billion CFUs in the product. So that's 1.6 times the amount of probiotic for that strain. So that's our first example. The second example is B. infantis. So this is Bifidobacterium infantis. So it's a different genus. So this one again is spec'd out at 50 billion. We sent it out to the third-party testing, and it comes back at 140 billion.
No, that's a lot.
Big difference there. So 1.8 billion is what should be in the capsule based on the label, but what is actually in the capsule is 5.04 billion, or 2.8 times as many CFUs.
Wow.
And the last example we're going to give here is L. bulgaricus. So this is spec'd out at 50 billion per gram. We send it out to a third-party lab, and it comes back at 720 billion per gram. So when we look at the final product, there should be 225 million CFUs of that strain in the capsule, and it's actually 3.24 billion. So we're talking 14.4 times as much horsepower or colony forming units for that particular bacteria. So if we multiply that across, all of the different strains that are in the prime probiotic, I mean, there's substantially more activity or CFUs per capsule than what is listed on the label, and we'll kind of get to why we do that. We also we'll skip on down to the second thing. It's just the number of strains. So if we look from just a natural perspective, if you were to sample how many different strains of probiotics are found in the human intestinal tract, we don't know. I mean, it's a infinite number. So to have a formula put together with 3 different strains of the same genus, it's incredibly limiting. And also that particular genus, so the Bifidobacterium works primarily in the large intestine. So the vast majority of your intestinal tract is comprised of the small intestine, so it does nothing, that product. So if we want to compare that to the prime probiotic, we have 17 different strains in the each capsule, and then we kind of covered how many the overage that's on each of those. So very impressive as far as just the number, the broad-based spectrum that you're going to receive, and if you look at each one of those, they're all going to perform very specific functions, whether it's immune support, helping peristaltic movement, producing enzymes. I mean, there's a whole host of wonderful things that these things do. So, the more the merrier, from that perspective. Then we'll move on to, we touched on this already a little bit, but just how many different types of genus or genera, right? The number of different families of probiotics. So with
is that the front part?
Yes.
Like Acidophilus
Yes.
is one genus,
Well,
and then Bifidobacteria is one genus.
yes, it's the like with it's Lactobacillus acidophilus. So it's the L is one genus.
Oh,
and then
Lactobacillus.
Lactobacillus, then Bifidobacterium is another genus. Streptococcus, another genus. So so when again comparing, we have 3 different Bifidobacterium, which all belong to the same genus. So there's just one of those. And so when we look at the 17 different strains, we're actually seeing actually there's more than we have Bifidobacterium, we have Lactobacillus, we have Streptococcus, and then we have Bacillus subtilis and Bacillus. So again, just the broad spectrum approach on this product is much different, right? So it's gonna be active from the time that it exits the stomach, throughout the entire small intestine, throughout the entire large intestine or colon, and then it exits the body. So you're just gonna get a lot more things done in that period of time. So another important thing we want to look at is allergens. So those are huge concerns and issues for a lot of people today. From our perspective with Prime Probiotic, we went through, looked at each of the 17 strains that we're using, and made sure that there are no allergens present on any of those. Zero, not one. So we don't need to put that on our label, or if people ask, go to the website, they can see that it's allergen free.
So I have a question. Why is there so much overage of ingredients to make a probiotic?
We talked about that a little bit earlier in the tour, and that really kind of goes back to these are very special raw materials that require incredibly special handling. So that's why when we get them in, they're shipped here usually next day, second day, air on dry ice. We open the box, make sure we get our sample, then put them into the cooler or freezer, keep them at the same temperature until we need them, then we pull them out. So again, the colder the temperature, the less activity loss over a period of time. So, and I think the single biggest factor with probiotics is humidity or moisture, the intentional overage that comes from the supplier, and we already covered that. So I mean, this is anywhere from a 1.8x to a 2.8x to a 14.4x. They're way over formulating these, so they want to make sure that there's plenty of activity, and the fact that most products in this industry have a 2-year shelf life. So this product with Prime Probiotics is no exception. So we have a 2-year shelf life. So in order to meet that 2-year shelf life, we're going to have to over formulate. We have to put more CFUs in there to make sure that they last the full length of that term. So the first way we do that is through intentional overage from the supplier. Now, I just want to point this out. Being a supplier for 30 years, I mean, people that are in this industry, in contract manufacturing, if they see something that comes in at 14.4 times what it should be, what are they going to do? They're going to water it down even to a 10x or a 5x, and you go, you're still going to get more, but I go, they're going to end up with quite a bit of money in their pocket. So that's typical, very typical in this industry, and it's completely legal. There's nothing wrong with it. That they're going to make money doing it. We don't do that. I mean, it's just simply, it's so much easier. There's a lot of labor, a lot of logistics, paperwork, all the documentation you have to do, simply not worth it. So when it comes in like that, we want to make sure we keep it that way, put it in the product, and then when we're doing the actual MBR, the manufacturing batch record, we as the contract manufacturer put an overage in of 10%. So again, that's just an extra amount that we make sure that we meet the label claim at the end, and that the product is stable.
So at the end, you mean 2 years?
2 years, yep. At the end of 2 years, you want to make sure that for this particular product, there are 10 billion CFU per capsule. So at the end of 2 years, there will be 2 billion CFU, 10 billion CFUs per capsule. So yeah, so that's why, again, the intentional overages from the supplier, the intentional overages from us, and then again, making sure during our manufacturing process, we do everything we can to limit the amount of moisture that gets into the product, and then it goes into a DR cap, gets put into the bottle, et cetera, et cetera. The desiccants help absorb the moisture. So a number of things we can do to prevent degradation or the loss of CFUs over that 2-year period, but super important.
Yeah, so a stable product.
Yes.
咁總括嚟講咧，運用我頭先教嘅方式，大家去自己去決定揀邊個產品最好咧。你可以望下喎，我俾一個sample 大家望一望啊，因為香港都有一啲好出名嘅益生菌好似呢一個咧就係好多人都會買嘅。咁你留意翻啦，佢係得3種益生菌嘅品種喎，而佢嘅 CFU 就有幾多億咧？係20億咁另外啦，就係你會發覺到佢用嘅方式咧，就係粉末嘅喎，即係你要打開個包裝，跟住咧就係擺落個水度飲啦。咁所以大家去諗下，我頭先教嘅方式，呢個係咪最理想嘅吸收方式咧？咁你可以自己作為一個對比啦，可以望一望我哋嘅產品同埋佢嘅產品，因為我哋係好用心去幫助人咧，係可以由身體咧係由內靚到外。咁所以咧，每一個過程製造嗰陣時咧，都係好講究。咁你自己可以作出你自己嘅決定，究竟你買邊個產品去幫助你同埋你屋企人可以得到呢個益生菌嘅益處啦。好啦，拜拜。